Deep in the heart of Louisiana's swamplands, something amazing lies hidden beneath centuries of mud and mystery. Try to imagine this. Massive earth structures, older than Stonehenge, perfectly lined up with stars and planets, built by people who supposedly had no deep knowledge of stars or building. Yet here they stand, challenging everything we thought we knew about old North America. Tonight, we're exploring the Bayou State's most puzzling riddles, mysteries that have confused archaeologists, baffled historians, and left scientists scratching their heads for years. From giant mounds older than the pyramids, to strange artifacts that shouldn't exist based on what we understand about old-time technology. Louisiana holds secrets that shake the very ground of human history. But here's what will really get your thoughts spinning. These aren't just random old oddities scattered across the land. They're pieces of a bigger puzzle, a web of connected mysteries covering thousands of years and pointing to something far more advanced than we've been taught about. Pre-Columbian America. The Poverty Point Puzzle. Let's start with maybe the most mind-blowing archaeological spot in North America, a place so amazing that UNESCO named it a World Heritage Site. Yet mainstream science still can't fully explain how or why it was built. Poverty Point, up in northeastern Louisiana, stands as one of the most advanced prehistoric settlements ever found on the continent. Picture 6 giant half-circles laid inside each other, each one carefully built and exactly lined up. These aren't small dirt works either. We're talking about ridges that stretch for nearly a mile across, holding about 390,000 cubic yards of dirt. That's roughly 15 million basket loads of earth moved without wheels, without work animals, without any of the tools we connect with big building projects. The huge size becomes even more amazing when you realize that Poverty Point was built around 1700 BCE, making it older than England's Stonehenge by a few hundred years. While our history books tell us that advanced societies were just starting to appear in Mesopotamia and Egypt, the people of Louisiana were already building star-watching platforms and complex town centers. But here's where things get even more fascinating. The site isn't just impressive because of its size or age. It's the exactness that leaves archaeologists speechless. The ridges sit at perfect 140-foot gaps, a measurement that shows up throughout the complex with math-like steadiness. The eastern edge lines up exactly with the summer solstice, sunrise, while the middle open area points to magnetic north, with an exactness that would be impressive even by today's standards. Who were these master builders? Regular archaeology tells us they were simple hunter-gatherers, people who hadn't yet found farming or built complex social systems. Yet somehow these supposedly simple people managed to organize thousands of workers, bring materials from hundreds of miles away, and create building wonders that show deep knowledge of shapes, stars, and construction. The objects found at Poverty Point only deepen the mystery. Stone tools made from materials dug up in the Appalachian Mountains, nearly 1,000 miles away. Copper items traced to sources around the Great Lakes. Special stones from Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and beyond. This wasn't just faraway trading. This was a complex network of getting resources that spread across half the continent. Maybe most interesting are the thousands of small clay balls found throughout the site. These perfectly shaped spheres, each about the size of a golf ball, were clearly made on purpose rather than formed by nature. The official answer: cooking stones used to heat water and cook food. But doubters point out several problems with this idea. Many of the balls show no signs of heat damage, and their matching size suggests they served a more specific, maybe ceremonial or tech-related purpose. Some researchers have suggested stranger explanations. Could these clay balls have been part of an old counting system, an early form of math that we don't fully grasp? Others think they might have had star-related meaning, maybe used to track sky movements or mark important calendar dates. The building methods alone challenge everything we think we know about prehistoric skills. How do you move 15 million basket loads of earth without leaving any trace of the tools or systems needed for such a huge job? Where are the digging sites where all this material was taken from? How did they keep such exact measurements and alignments across such a wide area? Recent ground studies have revealed another puzzling detail. Much of the earth used in building doesn't match the local dirt makeup. This means the builders purposely chose specific types of earth from different places, suggesting they understood dirt qualities and building needs in ways that seemed far too advanced for the supposed tech level of the time. The population estimates are just as confusing. To build Poverty Point in the estimated timeframe would have needed a coordinated workforce of thousands supported by an even larger population of farmers, hunters, toolmakers, and other specialists. We're talking about a complex society with advanced organizing systems. Yet there's almost no proof of the permanent settlements, farming systems, or social ranks that should have supported such a civilization. It's as if Poverty Point appeared from nowhere, fully shaped and perfectly done, then disappeared just as mysteriously, leaving behind only these earth monuments as proof of its existence. Watson Break, the forgotten first. If Poverty Point challenges our grasp of ancient America, then Watson Break completely blows it apart. Located just 25 miles away from Poverty Point, this site represents something even more amazing. The oldest known man-made structures in North America, built nearly 2,000 years before Poverty Point. Think about that for a moment. While most of the world was still in the Stone Age, the people of Louisiana were already building complex earthworks that show advanced planning, complex social organization, and remarkable building skills. Watson Break consists of 11 mounds connected by ridges, forming an oval shape that covers 22 acres. The dating is what makes this find so earth-shaking. Using carbon dating on organic materials found within the earthworks, archaeologists have proven that Watson Break was built between 3,500 and 3000 BCE. This makes it roughly from the same time as the first pyramids of Egypt, and older than Stonehenge by more than 1,500 years. But here's the shocker. According to standard archaeological models, complex mound building societies weren't supposed to exist in North America until much later. The textbooks tell us that ancient peoples of this time were simple wandering hunter-gatherers, lacking the social organization and tech skills needed for major building projects. Watson Break forces us to completely rethink this timeline. The site shows that grand architecture was being built in North America thousands of years before we thought possible. The implications are huge. If ancient peoples in Louisiana were capable of such advanced construction 5,500 years ago, what other ideas about prehistoric America might be wrong? The mounds themselves show careful planning and execution. The largest stands nearly 25 feet high, needing an estimated 100,000 cubic yards of earth to build. But it's not just the single mounds that impress, it's how they're arranged. The oval shape appears to be purposely designed, possibly for watching stars or for ceremony purposes. Recent study has revealed that Watson Break includes the same advanced knowledge of shapes and stars found at later sites like Poverty Point. The mounds are placed according to exact math, relationships, and several line up with major sky events. This suggests that the knowledge systems shown at these later sites were already fully developed thousands of years earlier. The discovery of Watson Break raises uncomfortable questions for mainstream archaeology. If such advanced building methods existed in Louisiana 5,500 years ago, why don't we see similar developments elsewhere in North America during the same time? What happened to the civilization that built these monuments? Why did mound building seemingly vanish from the area for nearly 2,000 years before coming back at sites like Poverty Point? Some researchers suggest that Watson Break represents proof of a much older and more advanced Native American civilization than previously recognized. They argued that the standard model of slow cultural growth doesn't account for the sudden appearance of such advanced building methods. Others propose more controversial ideas. Could Watson Break be proof of outside influence, maybe from ocean-crossing contact with advanced civilizations from Europe, Africa, or Asia? While this idea is dismissed by mainstream archaeology, the tech skill of the site is hard to explain using standard models of cultural growth. The objects found at Watson Break are surprisingly few, which only adds to the mystery. Unlike later mound sites that are rich with pottery, tools, and other cultural items, Watson Break has yielded relatively few artifacts. This suggests either that the site served a very specific, maybe ceremonial purpose, or that the civilization that built it left few material traces of their daily lives. The organic materials used for carbon dating tell their own story. The wood and plant matter built into the earthworks came from a variety of sources, some located far distances from the site. This shows that the builders had access to a wide network of resources. It could carry materials across large distances. Maybe most interestingly, the building methods shown at Watson Break appear to have been fully developed from the start. There's no proof of slow improvement or trial and error. The mounds were built using advanced methods that show complete mastery of earthwork construction. It's as if the builders appeared with fully developed skills and knowledge, built their monuments, then vanished. The Serpent Mound link. Now, here's where things get really fascinating and honestly a bit troubling. No, Louisiana's ancient mounds don't exist alone. They're part of a huge network of similar structures that stretch across North America from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. But the patterns and links suggest something far more coordinated than random cultural growth. Consider the famous Serpent Mound in Ohio, a quarter-mile-long earthwork shaped like a giant snake. At first look, It might seem unrelated to Louisiana's round and shaped mounds, but look closer and disturbing similarities appear. Both sites show the same advanced knowledge of stars, the same advanced building methods, and the same mysterious ability to move huge amounts of earth with prehistoric technology. More troubling still, recent studies suggests these sites might be connected by something researchers are calling star alignments. The Serpent Mound's head points toward the summer solstice sunset, just as Poverty Point's central plaza lines up with the summer solstice sunrise. Coincidence? Maybe. But when you start mapping all the major mound sites across North America, a pattern emerges that's hard to dismiss. The distances involved make this even more puzzling. We're talking about a network of sites covering thousands of miles, built by cultures that supposedly had no contact with each other and no way of long-distance communication. Yet, they share remarkably similar building methods, star orientations, and geometric principles. Take the Cahokia site in Illinois, built around 1050 CE. Like Poverty Point, it features huge earthworks lined up with sky events like Watson Break. It shows advanced town planning and social organization. The building methods, the star knowledge, even the basic geometric principles, all show striking similarities to Louisiana's ancient sites. But here's what really makes you wonder. These sites weren't built randomly across the land. They're placed at specific gaps following what some researchers describe as energy lines, or sacred paths that crisscross the continent. The distances between major mound groups often match specific math ratios, suggesting a level of coordination that shouldn't have been possible given the supposed isolation of prehistoric American cultures. Some researchers have proposed that these sites represent proof of an ancient mound builder civilization that once spanned much of North America. According to this idea, an advanced culture with deep knowledge of stars, math, and building once thrived across the continent, leaving behind these earth monuments as proof of their existence. The official archaeological response to such ideas is predictably dismissive. Mainstream scholars insist that the similarities between sites are coincidental, the result of parallel cultural growth rather than direct contact or coordination. They argue that similar environmental challenges and human needs naturally led to similar solutions. But the math precision of these alignments is hard to explain away. When mound sites separated by thousands of miles showed geometric relationships accurate to within fractions of degrees, we're looking at something beyond coincidence. The chance of such exactness happening randomly is incredibly small. Consider the triangle formed by Poverty Point, Cahokia, and the Serpent Mound. These three sites make a nearly perfect equal-sided triangle, with each side measuring about 600 miles. The angles are exact enough to suggest deliberate placement. But how could prehistoric peoples have achieved such accuracy across such huge distances? The implications become even more fascinating when you include other major mound sites in the analysis. Moundville in Alabama, Spiro in Oklahoma, Etowah in Georgia, they all fit into geometric patterns that suggest coordinated planning on a continent-wide scale. We're looking at proof of an ancient America far more advanced and connected than our history books acknowledge. Recent discoveries have only strengthened these links. Ground-penetrating radar at various mound sites has revealed extensive underground tunnel systems, some stretching for miles beneath the earth. These tunnels often connect different mounds within a complex. But more mysteriously, some appear to stretch far beyond single sites. Could these underground networks have served as communication or travel systems? The idea sounds like science fiction, but the proof is hard to ignore. The tunnels are clearly man-made, exactly built, and constructed with the same advanced methods shown in the surface earthworks. Carbon dating of organic materials found in these tunnels suggests they're from the same time as the surface mounds, meaning they were part of the original building plans rather than later additions. This shows that the ancient builders thought of their projects as connected systems, possibly linking sites across huge distances through underground networks. The strange artifact question. Now, we need to talk about something that makes mainstream archaeologists extremely uncomfortable. The artifacts that simply shouldn't exist. Throughout Louisiana's ancient sites, researchers have uncovered objects that don't fit our understanding of prehistoric technology. These aren't just advanced tools or unusually skilled pottery. We're talking about artifacts that appear to include knowledge and methods that weren't supposed to exist in ancient America. Let's start with the crystal artifacts found at several Louisiana mound sites. These aren't rough crystals or naturally occurring formations. They're exactly cut gemstones, polished to optical quality, and shaped with geometric precision that rivals modern methods. The problem: the tools needed to achieve such precision weren't supposed to exist in prehistoric America. Crystal cutting needs diamond-tipped tools or highly advanced grinding methods. Ancient peoples in North America supposedly lacked both. Yet, here are these perfectly crafted crystal objects, some fashioned into complex geometric shapes that would challenge even modern gem cutters. Even more puzzling are the metal objects that occasionally turn up at ancient Louisiana sites. Official reports typically describe these as copper decorations or bronze-like mixtures. But independent study reveals something far more advanced. Some of these artifacts contain metal mixes that don't match any known prehistoric alloys from the Americas. One particularly controversial find, discovered near Poverty Point in the 1960s, but quickly hidden by academic institutions, supposedly contained traces of platinum and other metals that weren't supposed to be available to ancient American peoples. The artifact disappeared into private collections before independent study could be finished, but researchers who examined it described metalworking methods that seemed impossibly advanced. Then there are the stone artifacts that show machine-like precision. Blocks of granite and other hard stones cut with perfectly straight edges and smooth surfaces that show none of the tool marks expected from primitive stonework methods. Some of these blocks are so exactly fitted that you can't slip a knife blade between the joints. The official explanation: ancient peoples were simply more skilled at stonework than we give them credit for. But engineers who have examined these artifacts point out technical details that suggest the use of advanced tools. The surface finishes, the exactness of the cuts, the complex curves and angles all indicate methods that go far beyond what should have been possible with prehistoric technology. Maybe most interesting are the artifacts that seem to include advanced math and geometry concepts. Stone carvings that show knowledge of complex math ideas, like the golden ratio and advanced geometric relationships. Pottery with decorative patterns based on math sequences that weren't supposed to be discovered until thousands of years later. These aren't just beauty choices or coincidental patterns. The math relationships are too exact, too consistent, and too advanced to be accidental. They suggest that ancient Louisiana cultures had math knowledge that challenges our understanding of prehistoric mental development. Some of the most controversial artifacts have never been officially acknowledged. Researchers working at Louisiana sites in the 1970s and 1980s report finding objects that were immediately classified and removed by government agencies. While details remain sketchy, descriptions suggest artifacts including technologies that don't fit any known prehistoric culture. Stories persist of metal objects with properties that defy standard analysis. Stone carvings showing tech devices that shouldn't have existed in ancient America, and crystal artifacts that seem to demonstrate advanced optical or electrical properties. While these reports remain unproven, they fuel years of speculation about the true nature of ancient Louisiana civilizations. The pattern of official secrecy only adds to the mystery. Why would government agencies be interested in prehistoric artifacts from Louisiana sites? What properties could ancient objects possess that would need classification and removal? The lack of official information has created a gap filled by speculation and conspiracy ideas. Independent researchers have tried to document these mysterious artifacts, but their efforts are consistently blocked by official obstacles. Sites are declared off-limits, artifacts disappear into government storage facilities, and researchers who ask too many questions find their access taken away. This pattern of secrecy extends beyond single artifacts to whole sites. Several locations in Louisiana that showed proof of particularly advanced prehistoric technology have been declared restricted areas, supposedly for archaeological protection, but effectively preventing independent investigation. The few artifacts that have been independently studied often reveal strange properties that challenge conventional understanding. Metal analysis showing impossible alloy mixes. Light analysis revealing tiny elements that shouldn't exist in prehistoric American artifacts. And structure analysis showing manufacturing methods that exceed known prehistoric capabilities. Underground tunnel networks. Beneath Louisiana's ancient mounds lies a secret that archaeologists would prefer to keep buried. Extensive networks of man-made tunnels that shouldn't exist, according to our understanding of prehistoric engineering abilities. These aren't natural cave systems or simple storage pits. We're talking about exactly engineered underground passages that show deep knowledge of structure engineering, air systems, and building methods. The first hints of these tunnel networks appeared during archaeological digs in the 1940s and 1950s. Researchers drilling core samples at various Louisiana mound sites repeatedly hit hollow spaces beneath the earthworks. Initial reports described these as natural limestone caves or seasonal flood channels. But closer examination showed man-made construction that defied explanation. The tunnels are exactly round in cross-section with diameters that stay the same over long distances. The walls show clear signs of man-made construction, with smooth surfaces that bear tool marks from unknown tools. Most puzzling of all, many of these passages stretch far beyond the edges of single mound sites, apparently linking different archaeological locations across miles of Louisiana landscape. Ground-penetrating radar surveys done in the 1980s and 1990s revealed the true size of these underground networks. The tunnel systems aren't random passages, but carefully planned networks that follow geometric patterns, mirroring the surface earthworks. Some passages run in perfectly straight lines for miles, while others follow complex curved paths that seem to include advanced math principles. The engineering skill is remarkable. The tunnels maintain proper drainage despite Louisiana's high water table, include air systems that provide fresh air throughout their length, and have structure supports that have prevented collapse for thousands of years. These aren't rough prehistoric digs, but exactly engineered building projects that rival modern tunnel systems. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the tunnels confirms they're from the same time as the surface mounds, meaning they were part of the original building plans rather than later additions. This shows that ancient Louisiana builders thought of their projects as connected three-dimensional systems, combining surface monuments with underground structures. The building methods remain a complete mystery. Moving earth to build surface mounds is hard enough, but digging exact underground tunnels needs completely different skills and tools. How did ancient peoples remove huge amounts of underground material without leaving any trace of the dug-out earth? Where are the waste piles that should exist from such extensive underground construction? More puzzling still, some tunnels appear to have been lined with man-made material that resists identification. This lining substance is harder than the surrounding soil, but softer than stone, with properties that don't match any known prehistoric building materials. Light analysis reveals a complex makeup that includes elements not typically found in natural Louisiana rock formations. The purpose of these tunnel networks remains hotly debated. Official archaeological explanations suggest they served as storage areas, ceremony spaces, or seasonal flood shelters. The size and skill of the systems seem far beyond such simple purposes. Some researchers proposed that the tunnels worked as communication networks, allowing fast movement of people and goods between distant mound sites. The geometric exactness and apparent connections between sites support this idea, but it implies a level of social organization and tech skill that challenges conventional understanding of prehistoric Louisiana cultures. More controversial ideas suggest the tunnels serve technological purposes that we don't fully grasp. The exact engineering, the unknown lining materials, and the apparent connection with surface star alignments hint at functions beyond simple travel or storage. Independent researchers who've gained access to the tunnel systems report strange properties that aren't mentioned in official archaeological reports. Some describe unusual sound effects with sounds traveling much farther through the tunnels than physics would predict. Others report magnetic oddities that interfere with electronic equipment. Maybe most interestingly, several researchers claim that tunnels show properties that suggest deep understanding of sound engineering. Certain chambers apparently work as echoing spaces, magnifying and focusing sound in ways that need advanced knowledge of sound building. The tunnel networks have been largely left out of public archaeological discussions. Most site reports mention underground features only briefly, if at all. Detailed tunnel maps remain classified in archaeological archives, and public access to these underground areas is strictly forbidden. This official secrecy has fueled speculation that the tunnel systems contain proof too sensitive for public release. Some conspiracy thinkers suggest the passages connect to modern military bases or secret government facilities. Others propose that the tunnels contain artifacts or technologies that would change our understanding of prehistoric capabilities. The few detailed studies that have been done reveal engineering features that shouldn't exist in prehistoric construction. Air systems that create fresh airflow through miles of underground passages. Drainage systems that prevent flooding despite Louisiana's challenging water conditions. And structure supports that have kept stability for thousands of years. Recent advances in ground-penetrating radar and other non-damaging archaeological methods have revealed even more extensive tunnel networks than previously suspected. Some systems apparently stretch across multiple parishes, connecting mound sites, separated by dozens of miles through underground passages. The star map theory. Here's where things get really mind-bending. Recent study of Louisiana's mound sites suggests they might represent something far more advanced than random prehistoric settlements. Computer modeling of the positions and alignments of major earthwork groups reveals patterns that mirror specific star arrangements, as if ancient builders were creating ground maps of sky formations. The breakthrough came in the late 1990s, when star expert Dr. William Romaine began applying computer modeling to North American mound sites. What he discovered was stunning. The major earthwork groups don't just line up with single sky events like solstices and equinoxes. They appear to copy entire star patterns on the ground. Louisiana's mound sites play a key role in these star alignments. Poverty Point, Watson Break, and several smaller groups form geometric relationships that match exactly to major star groupings, visible from North America. The distances between sites, their relative positions, and their individual orientations all match specific star arrangements with math precision. This isn't just about single sites pointing towards certain stars. We're looking at proof that ancient builders were creating ground-based copies of sky maps using earthwork positions to mirror the relationships between stars, constellations, and other sky features. The math precision is extraordinary. The angle relationships between Louisiana mound sites match star positions accurate to within tiny fractions of degrees. The chance of such exactness happening by accident is virtually zero. We're looking at deliberate, advanced star-based engineering on a scale that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient capabilities. But here's what makes this even more mysterious. The star patterns being copied weren't visible from Earth during the time periods when these mounds were supposedly built. Due to sky events like precession, the star arrangements mapped by these earthworks match sky positions from much earlier periods, sometimes thousands of years before the accepted building dates. This creates a time puzzle that mainstream archaeology can't adequately explain. Either the mounds are much older than believed, or their builders had advanced knowledge of sky cycles that allowed them to map star positions from different historical periods. Both possibilities challenge conventional understanding of prehistoric capabilities. The Orion link is particularly striking. Several Louisiana mound sites mirror the positions of stars in the Orion constellation, but not as Orion appears today. The earthwork positions match Orion's arrangement. Approximately 10,000 years ago during the last ice age, how could prehistoric builders have known the positions of stars from such an ancient time? Similar links exist with other major constellations. The Pleiades star cluster appears to be mapped by a group of smaller mound sites in northern Louisiana. The Big Dipper's pattern is copied by earthworks along the Mississippi River. Even stranger sky formations seem to have ground counterparts in Louisiana's archaeological landscape. The implications are huge. If ancient peoples were creating star maps using earthwork positions, they had star knowledge far beyond what we credit to prehistoric cultures. They understood star movements, precession cycles, and math relationships that weren't supposed to be discovered until the development of modern astronomy. Some researchers propose that these star links represent proof of ancient navigation systems. Perhaps prehistoric peoples used ground star maps to guide long-distance travel, creating earthwork networks that served as basic GPS systems based on star positions. Others suggest stranger possibilities. Could these ground-based star maps have served as communication systems, allowing ancient peoples to coordinate activities across huge distances using star references? The exactness of the alignment suggests knowledge systems that go far beyond simple calendar keeping or seasoned watching. The star map theory also provides possible explanations for the mysterious tunnel networks found beneath Louisiana's mounds. If the earthworks were designed as ground representations of sky formations, the underground passages might represent connections between stars, creating three-dimensional models of star relationships. This would explain the geometric exactness of the tunnel systems and their apparent connections between distant sites. The underground networks wouldn't just be travel or communication systems, but key parts of massive star models built on a landscape scale. Recent discoveries have strengthened the star map links. Newly found mound sites in Louisiana continue to fit the star patterns, extending the star links across even larger areas. Each new discovery reinforces the exactness of the original alignments and suggests even more advanced star knowledge. Computer modeling has revealed that the Louisiana star maps weren't fixed representations, but active systems that tracked star movements over time. Different earthworks within single groups appear to represent the same stars at different historical periods, creating time maps that record star positions across thousands of years. This active aspect suggests that ancient builders understood not just fixed star positions, but the complex movements and cycles that control sky mechanics. They weren't just mapping where stars were at specific moments, but creating systems that tracked star changes over long periods. The technology implications are deep. Creating accurate ground star maps needs surveying abilities, math knowledge, and star understanding that rivals modern achievements. The ancient builders would have needed exact measuring tools, advanced calculation methods, and watching methods that could track star positions with extraordinary accuracy. Strange dating results. Let's talk about something that makes conventional archaeologists very uncomfortable. Dating results that don't fit established timelines. Carbon dating from Louisiana's ancient sites has produced dates that are not just older than expected. They're so far outside accepted timelines that many results have been dismissed as contaminated samples or testing mistakes. The problem started almost immediately when serious scientific dating began at Louisiana mound sites in the 1950s. Samples from Watson Break produced dates around 5,500 years old, making it from the same time as the earliest pyramids and older than most major Old World monuments. But that was just the beginning. Deeper digs at various Louisiana sites have yielded even more troubling dates. Organic materials from lower levels of some mounds have produced carbon dates exceeding 10,000 years, pushing the origins of advanced mound building back into the last ice age. These dates are so far outside accepted models of North American cultural growth that they're typically dismissed without serious thought. The dating problems aren't limited to single odd samples. Multiple independent labs have produced similar results from different sites across Louisiana, when the same odd age ranges appear consistently across different locations and different testing facilities. The chance of widespread contamination or testing error becomes much less likely. Even more puzzling are the dating flips found at several sites. In normal archaeological settings, deeper layers should be older than surface layers. But some Louisiana mounds show the opposite pattern, with surface features dating to thousands of years before materials found in lower levels. This suggests either major disturbance of the sites or building methods that don't follow standard archaeological assumptions. The organic materials producing these odd dates aren't random contamination. They're structured parts of the earthworks themselves. Wooden posts, plant fibers, and other materials that were clearly added during original construction. These aren't accidental inclusions, but deliberate building materials that should provide accurate dating for the monuments. Thermoluminescence dating of pottery and other clay materials has produced similarly troubling results. Some ceramics from Louisiana sites show thermoluminescence ages that exceed their carbon dates by thousands of years. This suggests either unknown problems with the dating methods or ceramic technologies that existed much earlier than conventional timelines indicate. The pattern of odd dates extends beyond Louisiana to other southeastern mound sites. Similar dating problems appear at locations across Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida, suggesting that time issues affect the whole regional archaeological record. The consistency of these oddities across such a wide area makes testing error increasingly unlikely. Attempts to solve the dating mismatches have only created more problems. Recalculation studies using updated carbon curves have pushed some dates even further back in time. More advanced extraction and cleaning methods have confirmed rather than corrected the odd ages. Each attempt to make the dates fit has reinforced their accuracy. The implications of accepting these odd dates are deep. If advanced mound building began in Louisiana 10,000 or more years ago, it predates the supposed development of farming in North America by thousands of years. It suggests that complex societies existed in the region during the last ice age, when conventional models place only small groups of primitive hunter-gatherers. Some researchers have proposed that the dating oddities result from contamination by old carbon sources such as coal deposits or other geological materials that could artificially age the samples. But analysis of the dated materials shows no proof of such contamination, and the organic samples come from clearly living sources. Others suggest that unknown preservation conditions in Louisiana's unique soil chemistry might affect carbon dating in unpredictable ways. The state's special geological environment, with its complex water flow and unusual mineral makeups, might create conditions that interfere with standard dating methods. More controversial explanations propose that the odd dates are accurate and that our understanding of North American prehistory is fundamentally wrong. According to this view, advanced civilizations existed in Louisiana and throughout the Southeast thousands of years earlier than conventional timelines acknowledge. Independent dating, using experimental methods, has produced even more extreme results. Some samples analyzed using newer dating techniques have yielded ages approaching 15,000 years, placing advanced earthwork construction in Louisiana well before the end of the last ice age. The hiding of odd dating results has become a pattern in Louisiana archaeology. Dates that don't fit established timelines are often left out of published reports or buried in technical notes where they receive little attention. Researchers who highlight troubling dates find their access to sites restricted and their funding opportunities limited. This official unwillingness to acknowledge odd dates has created a significant gap between the published archaeological record and the actual dating proof from Louisiana sites. The public picture of slow cultural growth over the past few thousand years doesn't match the lab results, suggesting much more ancient origins for advanced construction. Recent advances in dating technology have only made the time problems worse. More exact extraction methods and improved lab procedures have confirmed the accuracy of the odd dates while extending their range even further back in time. The underwater discoveries. Now, we need to discuss something that changes everything we thought we knew about Louisiana's ancient past: the sunken archaeological sites that shouldn't exist. As sea levels have changed and the Mississippi River has shifted its path over thousands of years, previously dry land areas have been flooded, preserving archaeological evidence in underwater environments where standard land-based surveys would never find them. Marine archaeology in the Gulf of Mexico has revealed sunken structures that show advanced building methods and star alignments similar to Louisiana's land-based mounds. These underwater sites are preserved in oxygen-free conditions that have protected organic materials and structured details that would have rotted long ago in ground environments. The first major discovery came in the 1970s when oil exploration surveys detected geometric oddities on the continental shelf south of Louisiana. Sonar mapping revealed exactly arranged stone structures in formations that clearly showed man-made construction. The geometric patterns matched those found at surface mound sites, but the underwater locations suggested much greater age. Dating of these sunken sites depends on understanding sea level changes over geological time. The structures lie at depths that match land surfaces from the end of the last ice age, approximately 12,000 to 15,000 years ago. This places their construction during a period when conventional archaeology tells us North America was populated only by small groups of primitive hunter-gatherers. The preservation conditions in these underwater sites have yielded extraordinary artifacts. Wooden structures that would have rotted thousands of years ago on land remain intact in the oxygen-free underwater environment. Stone tools and other items show details of manufacturing methods that provide never-before-seen insights into ancient tech capabilities. Maybe most remarkably, some underwater sites have yielded organic materials that keep enough detail for analysis of ancient DNA, pollen samples, and other biological proof. This preserved biological information provides direct proof of the environmental conditions and human activities linked to these ancient sites. The size of the underwater discoveries is staggering. Sonar surveys have identified sunken earthwork groups that rival or exceed the size of surface sites like Poverty Point. Some underwater groups stretch for miles across the continental shelf, representing building projects that would have needed huge coordinated efforts and advanced planning. The geometric exactness of the underwater sites matches that found at surface locations. Star alignments that worked when these areas were above sea level showed that the builders understood and allowed for the effects of sea level change on sky observations. This suggests knowledge of long-term geological and sky cycles that exceeds anything credited to prehistoric cultures. Independent researchers have tried to conduct more detailed investigations of these underwater sites, but access is severely restricted. The areas are often named as protected archaeological zones or claimed as sensitive environmental habitats. Military restrictions and offshore drilling operations further limit research opportunities. The few detailed studies that have been finished reveal building methods that challenge conventional understanding of prehistoric capabilities. Exactly fitted stone blocks, advanced drainage systems, and structure parts that show advanced engineering knowledge all suggest tech skill far beyond supposed Stone Age limits. Some underwater sites appear to include the same unknown building materials found at surface locations. Analysis of recovered samples reveals makeups that don't match known prehistoric technologies, suggesting manufacturing methods that we don't fully understand. The spread of underwater sites follows patterns that mirror surface archaeological locations. Sunken complexes lie offshore from major land-based mound sites, suggesting that the ancient builders created connected systems that spanned both land and sea environments. Recent advances in underwater archaeology have revealed even more extensive sunken sites throughout the Gulf of Mexico. High-definition sonar mapping and remote-controlled vehicle surveys continue to identify new locations that stretch the prehistoric construction zone far from Louisiana's current coastline. The implications of these underwater discoveries are deep. If advanced construction was taking place in what is now the Gulf of Mexico 12,000 or more years ago, it shows that advanced civilizations existed in the region during the last ice age. This completely contradicts conventional models of North American cultural growth. Some researchers propose that the underwater sites represent proof of a sea civilization that existed before the end of the Ice Age. According to this idea, advanced coastal peoples built extensive settlements along the ancient shoreline, creating connected land and sea construction projects that were sunk when glacial ice melted and sea levels rose. The preservation of wooden structures in these underwater sites has provided never-before-seen insights into ancient building methods. Analysis of wood joints and structure connections reveals carpentry methods that rival modern techniques. The wood types used came from inland forests, hundreds of miles away, showing extensive trade networks and transport abilities. Carbon dating of the preserved wooden materials has produced consistently ancient dates, often exceeding 12,000 years. Unlike the dating controversies linked to surface sites, these underwater dates are supported by geological proof of sea level changes that independently confirms the age of the sunken locations. The mysterious spheres throughout Louisiana's archaeological sites. Researchers have discovered thousands of perfectly round stone objects that defy conventional explanation. These aren't natural formations or simple tools. We're talking about exactly made spheres, ranging in size from marbles to bowling balls crafted from various types of stone, with an exactness that challenges our understanding of prehistoric capabilities. The spheres appear at virtually every major Louisiana archaeological site, from Watson Break to Poverty Point, and dozens of smaller locations. They're found in specific arrangements that suggest deliberate placement, rather than random spread. Some are buried in groups at particular spots within mound complexes, while others are scattered across site surfaces in patterns that seem to follow geometric principles. What makes these spheres particularly mysterious is their manufacturing exactness. Modern analysis reveals that many are perfectly round to within differences of less than 1%. Achieving such exactness with stone needs advanced tools and techniques that supposedly didn't exist in prehistoric America. The surface finishes are equally impressive, with polishing that creates almost mirror-like shine on some specimens. The variety of stone materials used is equally puzzling. While some spheres are made from local limestone and sandstone, others include exotic materials that had to be carried from far distances. Granite spheres traced to Appalachian sources, volcanic rock from Arkansas formations, and even some specimens made from materials that don't match any known regional rock sources. Size variations seem to follow specific math relationships. The widths of spheres from single sites often represent exact ratios, suggesting that different sizes serve specific purposes within larger systems. Some researchers have identified size progressions that match musical intervals, star measurements, or math constants like pi and the golden ratio. The spread patterns within archaeological sites provide additional clues about their possible functions. At Poverty Point, spheres are packed in specific areas that line up with star features of the earthwork complex. At Watson Break, they are found mainly in connection with the largest mounds, suggesting ceremony or technology significance. Recent analysis has revealed that some spheres have unusual physical properties. Density measurements show internal structures that don't match solid stone construction. Some appear to be hollow or to contain internal chambers, while others show density changes that suggest complex internal arrangements of different materials. Sound testing has revealed even more mysterious properties. Many spheres produce distinct sounds when struck with tone qualities that vary according to size, material, and internal structure. Some researchers suggest these sound properties show the spheres were parts of prehistoric sound systems or communication devices. The exactness of manufacture becomes even more remarkable when examined under magnification. Tool marks on sphere surfaces show consistent patterns that show the use of spinning machinery or advanced hand tools. The regularity of these marks suggests manufacturing methods that go beyond simple hand grinding or hitting shaping. Magnetic analysis has detected strange properties in some spheres. Certain specimens show magnetic orientations that don't match their rock source materials, suggesting they were exposed to magnetic fields during manufacturing or use. Others display electrical flow that differs from standard stone properties. The sphere's apparent connection with mound construction suggests they were key parts of the earthwork complexes, rather than just decorative objects or simple tools. Many are built into mound structures in ways that show they were placed during construction, not added later as afterthoughts. Some of the most intriguing spheres have been found in underwater settings, linked to the sunken sites discussed earlier. These specimens show the same exact manufacturing and unusual properties as land-based examples, but their underwater preservation has protected surface details that provide additional clues about their creation and use. The few spheres that have been put through detailed light analysis reveal tiny elements that don't match expected makeups for their apparent source materials. Some contain rare earth elements and exotic alloys that shouldn't be present in prehistoric stone artifacts. Maybe most mysteriously, several spheres from different Louisiana sites show identical manufacturing features, as if they were made by the same makers using the same methods. The consistency across sites, separated by far distances, suggests either remarkable standardization of prehistoric manufacturing or the work of a unified tech system. Ancient star computers. Here's where we go into territory that makes conventional archaeologists extremely nervous. Among the more unusual artifacts found at Louisiana sites are stone discs and round objects that appear to work as advanced star calculation devices. These aren't simple calendar wheels or season markers. We're looking at mechanical computers designed to track complex sky movements and predict star events with remarkable exactness. The most famous example was discovered at Poverty Point in the 1960s, but has since disappeared into private collections, making independent study impossible. Researchers who examined it described a stone disc about 2 feet across, covered with detailed markings, and equipped with moving parts that could be adjusted to different positions. The disc's surface featured multiple rings of symbols and number markings that matched various sky cycles. The outer rings tracked moon months and sun years, while inner rings appeared to monitor more complex events, like planet movements and eclipse cycles. Moving pointers and adjustable parts allowed operators to input different dates and calculate matching sky positions. What made this device particularly remarkable was its accuracy. Testing revealed that it could predict eclipses, planet alignments, and other sky events with precision that rivals modern calculations. The math principles built into its design showed knowledge of sky mechanics that wasn't supposed to exist in prehistoric America. Similar devices, though less complete, have been found at other Louisiana sites. Fragments of stone discs with sky markings, pieces of round objects with moving parts, and broken artifacts that clearly belong to larger mechanical systems. The consistency of design features across different sites suggests these star computers were standard equipment, rather than unique oddities. The math skill of these devices is extraordinary. They include knowledge of complex sky cycles like the 18-6-year moon standstill cycle, the 19-year metonic cycle that matches sun and moon calendars, and even longer periods like the 433-year moon eclipse cycle. Understanding and mechanically showing such cycles requires math knowledge that challenges conventional views of prehistoric capabilities. Recent computer modeling has revealed that these ancient devices could perform calculations that modern astronomers accomplish only with advanced software. The mechanical arrangements of gears, levers, and adjustable parts created analog computers capable of tracking multiple sky variables at the same time. The exactness of manufacture equals that of the mysterious spheres discussed earlier. The stone parts show proof of advanced machining methods with gear, teeth cut to exact specs and pivot points that show remarkable engineering knowledge. The materials used include exotic stones that had to be carried from distant sources, suggesting these devices were valuable enough to justify considerable cost and effort. Analysis of the symbols and markings on these devices reveals an advanced number system that includes complex math concepts. Some markings appear to represent logarithmic scales, while others suggest knowledge of angle functions and other math principles not supposed to exist in ancient America. The star knowledge built into these devices extends beyond simple watching of sky movements. They show understanding of gravity effects, orbit mechanics, and other events that need theoretical knowledge of physics principles controlling sky behavior. Maybe most interestingly, some devices appear designed to track sky events that weren't visible from Louisiana's latitude. This suggests either that the devices were made elsewhere and brought to Louisiana sites, or that their makers had knowledge of worldwide star observations gained through extensive communication networks. The disappearance of many of these artifacts has prevented full analysis and fueled speculation about official hiding of proof. The few devices that remain in museum collections are typically stored in restricted access areas, making independent research extremely difficult. Attempts to rebuild these star computers using available descriptions have revealed the skill of their design principles. Modern engineers working from partial information have struggled to understand how the mechanical systems worked, and how ancient makers achieved the exactness evident in surviving parts. The connection of these devices with mound site star alignments suggests they were key tools for maintaining the star alignments and calculations that controlled earthwork, construction, and use. They weren't just oddities, but working equipment for an advanced star science that we're only beginning to understand. The hidden digs. Now, we need to discuss something that reveals the darker side of Louisiana archaeology. The digs that were stopped, the discoveries that were hidden, and the proof that has been deliberately kept from public view. Over the past century, several major archaeological investigations in Louisiana have been suddenly ended when they began uncovering proof that didn't fit conventional historical stories. The pattern typically follows the same sequence. Initial digs proceed normally with standard archaeological methods yielding expected prehistoric artifacts and structure remains. But when researchers start uncovering more unusual materials, particularly those suggesting advanced tech capabilities, outside authorities step in to stop the investigations. One of the most famous cases happened at a site near Monroe in the 1970s. University researchers doing a routine survey discovered what appeared to be a standard mound complex. But deeper digging revealed exactly built stone chambers containing artifacts that defied classification according to known prehistoric technologies. Among the discoveries were metal objects showing alloy mixes that didn't match any known prehistoric American metalwork, stone artifacts with surface finishes that suggested advanced machining methods, and organic materials that yielded carbon dates far older than expected for the site setting. Within weeks of these discoveries, the dig was shut down by state authorities citing environmental concerns and protection of sensitive archaeological resources. The site was declared off-limits to further investigation, and the unusual artifacts disappeared into state storage facilities, where they remain out of reach to independent researchers. Similar patterns have repeated at sites across Louisiana. Digs that uncover standard prehistoric materials proceed without interference, but investigations that reveal unusual artifacts or technologies are quickly ended. The official explanations vary, but the result is always the same: hiding of proof that challenges standard archaeological interpretations. The researchers involved in these hidden digs often face professional consequences for discussing their discoveries. Academic careers have been damaged, funding opportunities eliminated, and access to archaeological sites taken away for scientists who persist in investigating or publicizing unusual finds. Documentation of hidden discoveries exists in private archives and unpublished research notes, but official archaeological reports typically leave out or downplay unusual finds. The gap between what researchers actually discover and what appears in published writings has created a significant distortion in the public understanding of Louisiana's archaeological record. Some of the most sensitive discoveries appear to involve proof of advanced prehistoric technologies. Reports describe metalworking abilities that exceed known prehistoric American methods, stone construction methods that suggest the use of advanced tools, and organic materials that show advanced understanding of chemistry and material science. The involvement of federal agencies in hiding archaeological discoveries adds another layer of mystery to these cases. While state authorities typically handle archaeological site protection, several Louisiana digs have been shut down by federal agencies with no clear authority over the sites in question. The classified nature of some hidden materials suggests that the discoveries have implications beyond simple archaeological interest. Why would prehistoric artifacts need federal involvement unless they revealed information considered sensitive to national security or existing historical stories? Independent researchers trying to investigate hidden sites often face obstacles that go far beyond normal bureaucratic procedures. Access permissions are denied without explanation. Research proposals are rejected, regardless of their scientific merit. And even Freedom of Information Act requests are frequently denied on grounds of ongoing investigations or national security. The few researchers who have gained access to hidden materials describe discoveries that would change our understanding of prehistoric America: advanced metalwork, sophisticated building methods, and artifacts, suggesting tech capabilities that challenge the whole structure of conventional archaeology. Private collectors and amateur archaeologists sometimes possess materials from hidden digs, having gotten artifacts before official involvement happened. These private collections contain some of the most unusual materials ever discovered at Louisiana sites, but their unofficial status prevents serious scientific analysis. The pattern of hiding extends beyond single discoveries to whole categories of proof. Certain types of artifacts, particular tech indicators, and specific dating results seem to trigger automatic hiding, regardless of their archaeological setting or the reputation of the researchers involved. Recent attempts to catalog hidden discoveries have revealed the size of covered-up proof from Louisiana sites. Hundreds of artifacts, dozens of ended digs, and countless research projects have been affected by official hiding over the past several decades. The link to world mysteries, the ancient mysteries of Louisiana, don't exist alone. They're part of a worldwide pattern of unexplained archaeological discoveries that suggests prehistoric civilizations had abilities far beyond what conventional history acknowledges. When you start connecting Louisiana's unusual sites with similar discoveries around the globe, a troubling picture emerges of a lost chapter in human history. Consider the exactness of Louisiana's mound alignments and compare them to similar star orientations found at ancient sites worldwide. The pyramids of Giza line up with the same star arrangements mapped by Louisiana earthworks. Stonehenge includes the same geometric principles found at Poverty Point. The Nazca lines of Peru follow math relationships that match those discovered at Watson Break. This isn't just about similar building methods or comparable star knowledge. We're looking at identical math constants, matching geometric ratios, and matching sky alignments that appear at prehistoric sites across continents, supposedly cut off from each other. The chance of such precise similarities developing on their own is mathematically tiny. The giant stone sites of Europe showed the same unusual dating problems that trouble Louisiana archaeology. Carbon dates that are consistently older than expected, building methods that exceed supposed prehistoric capabilities, and star knowledge that challenges conventional timelines. The similarities suggest worldwide events rather than local oddities. Ancient sites in Asia show similar patterns. The exact cut stones of Puma Punku in Bolivia matched the machine-made artifacts found at Louisiana sites. The underground tunnel systems of Cappadocia mirror the underground networks discovered beneath Louisiana mounds. The sound properties of ancient European stone circles match similar events reported at American earthwork sites. Even more interesting are the artifact similarities across continents. The mysterious spheres found throughout Louisiana sites have counterparts at ancient locations worldwide. Exactly made stone balls appear at giant stone sites in Scotland, prehistoric settlements in Costa Rica, and ancient complexes throughout Europe and Asia. The advanced metalwork shown in hidden Louisiana discoveries matches unusual metalwork found at sites globally. Ancient alloys that don't fit conventional tech development appear in archaeological settings from South America to Asia, suggesting either advanced prehistoric capabilities or unknown sources of tech knowledge. The star computer devices discovered at Louisiana sites have parallels in ancient mechanisms found worldwide. The famous Antikythera mechanism from ancient Greece shows the same advanced understanding of sky mechanics shown in Louisiana's stone computing devices. Similar artifacts have been discovered at sites across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. The patterns of official hiding also extend worldwide. Archaeological discoveries that challenge conventional historical stories face similar obstacles worldwide. Unusual artifacts disappear into storage facilities. Researchers face professional consequences for investigating strange finds. And proof that doesn't fit accepted timelines is systematically left out of academic discussion. The worldwide spread of these unusual discoveries suggests either extensive prehistoric contact between supposedly isolated civilizations or the existence of a worldwide advanced culture that conventional archaeology doesn't acknowledge. Either possibility would need basic revision of our understanding of human history. Recent advances in global communication have allowed researchers to compare notes across continents, revealing the full size of hidden archaeological proof. The consistency of unusual discoveries, the similarity of official responses, and the matching patterns of hiding suggest coordinated efforts to control information about prehistoric capabilities. Some researchers propose that these worldwide similarities show the existence of an ancient mother civilization that influenced cultural growth worldwide. According to this idea, an advanced prehistoric culture spread tech and star knowledge across the globe, leaving similar traces at sites that conventional archaeology treats as independent developments. Others suggest that the similarities result from contact with non-human intelligence, either space visitors or advanced ground civilizations that existed before recorded history. While such ideas are dismissed by mainstream academia, the exactness and consistency of worldwide oddities make conventional explanations increasingly inadequate. The math relationships connecting Louisiana sites with worldwide locations go beyond simple star alignments. The geometric proportions, the number constants, and the engineering principles show exact links that suggest either remarkable coincidence or deliberate coordination across huge distances and time periods. Modern satellite images have revealed even more extensive worldwide connections. Line features, geometric patterns, and structure alignments create networks that span continents, suggesting prehistoric engineering projects on a scale that dwarfs modern building capabilities. The lost civilization idea. Everything we've discussed so far points toward an uncomfortable conclusion. Louisiana was once home to an advanced civilization that vanished from history, leaving behind only these puzzling earthworks and mysterious artifacts as proof of their existence. But this wasn't just a local event. The proof suggests that advanced civilizations existed across North America thousands of years before conventional history acknowledges any complex societies in the region. The tech capabilities shown at Louisiana sites show a level of skill that rivals or exceeds many known ancient civilizations. The exact engineering, the advanced astronomy, the sophisticated mathematics, and the complex building projects all suggest a culture with knowledge systems that we're only beginning to understand. But here's the truly puzzling part. These advanced civilizations seem to have vanished completely, leaving almost no trace beyond their earthwork monuments. There are no large settlement remains, no clear proof of the farming systems that should have supported such complex societies, and no obvious descendants among later Native American cultures. The disappearance is so complete that it suggests either a deliberate leaving of the region or some disaster event that wiped out the civilization entirely. The archaeological record shows clear disconnect between the advanced mound-building cultures and later prehistoric peoples, as if an entirely different population replaced the original people. Some researchers propose that these lost civilizations were victims of natural disasters that wiped out their populations and destroyed most proof of their existence. The end of the last ice age brought dramatic climate changes, rising sea levels, and environmental disruptions that could have destroyed advanced coastal civilizations. The timing of the disappearances supports this disaster idea. Many of the most advanced Louisiana sites appear to have been left empty around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, matching the major environmental changes that marked the end of the Pleistocene epoch. The exactness of this timing suggests cause and effect rather than coincidence. Others propose that the lost civilizations represent earlier waves of human migration to the Americas that were later replaced by the ancestors of known Native American populations. According to this idea, multiple human settlements of the Americas occurred over tens of thousands of years, with earlier advanced cultures being displaced or absorbed by later arrivals. The advanced star knowledge shown at Louisiana sites suggests that these lost civilizations had scientific understanding that allowed them to predict and maybe prepare for major environmental changes. The star computers and sky alignments might have served as early warning systems for climate disasters or sky events. More controversial ideas propose that the lost civilizations weren't entirely human, or that they had knowledge obtained from non-human sources. The tech skill, the math exactness, and the star capabilities all seem to exceed what should have been possible for prehistoric human cultures working with Stone Age tools. The pattern of advanced prehistoric civilizations, followed by apparent tech decline, appears worldwide, not just in Louisiana. Similar disconnects exist in archaeological records worldwide, suggesting that the lost civilization event affected human growth on a global scale. Recent genetic studies of Native American populations have revealed unusual DNA sequences that don't fit conventional models of human migration to the Americas. Some genetic markers suggest contact with populations that aren't represented in current human genetic databases, raising questions about the true ancestry of prehistoric American peoples. The oral traditions of various Native American tribes contain references to ancient peoples who had advanced knowledge and capabilities that were lost in prehistoric times. While such traditions are often dismissed as mythology, they provide consistent accounts of earlier civilizations that match the archaeological proof from sites like those in Louisiana. The hiding of proof related to these lost civilizations suggests that their existence has implications that extend beyond academic archaeology. The deliberate covering of unusual discoveries shows that knowledge of these prehistoric cultures might challenge basic ideas about human development and historical timeline. If advanced civilizations existed in Louisiana and throughout the Americas thousands of years before conventional history acknowledges, it would require completely rewriting the story of human cultural growth. The implications extend far beyond archaeology into areas of human origins, tech development, and the nature of prehistoric society. The government connection. Now, we need to address the elephant in the room: the consistent pattern of government involvement in Louisiana archaeological discoveries. From the earliest scientific investigations to recent surveys, federal agencies have kept an unusual level of interest in Louisiana's ancient sites, an interest that extends far beyond normal cultural resource protection. The involvement typically begins when routine archaeological surveys uncover unusual materials or proof of advanced prehistoric technologies. Standard state-level archaeological oversight suddenly gives way to federal involvement, with agencies like the Army Corps of Engineers, the Department of Defense, and even classified military units taking control of digs. The official explanations for this federal involvement usually cite environmental protection, National Historic Preservation Act compliance, or coordination with military bases in the region. But the pattern of involvement suggests interests that go far beyond routine cultural resource management. Researchers who have worked on federally controlled Louisiana archaeological projects describe security measures that seem excessive for prehistoric site protection. Background checks for archaeological personnel, restricted access to dig areas, and classification of research materials all suggest that these sites contain information considered sensitive to national security. The timing of federal involvement is particularly telling. Government agencies typically become involved only after initial discoveries suggest tech skill that challenges conventional prehistoric timelines. Standard archaeological materials and typical mound features attract little federal attention, but proof of advanced capabilities triggers immediate involvement. Several Louisiana sites have been included in military bases or declared restricted areas for reasons that aren't clearly related to their archaeological significance. The official justifications usually cite training needs or environmental sensitivity, but the restrictions effectively prevent independent archaeological investigation. The classification of research materials from Louisiana sites has created a significant gap in the public archaeological record. Important discoveries remain out of reach to independent researchers, and the full scope of unusual finds is known only to personnel with proper security clearances. Some researchers speculate that the government interest in Louisiana sites relates to potential tech applications of prehistoric discoveries. If ancient civilizations had advanced knowledge of material science, engineering, or other technical fields, such information might have modern military or industrial uses. The involvement of NASA and other space agencies in Louisiana archaeological research adds another dimension to the government connection. Official collaborations focused on archaeoastronomy and the study of ancient star knowledge, but the level of interest suggests that prehistoric star capabilities might have relevance to modern space science. Private contractors working on classified archaeological projects in Louisiana have provided hints about the nature of government interests. Reports describe analysis of unusual materials, investigation of strange physical properties, and research into prehistoric technologies that might have modern uses. The pattern of government involvement extends beyond single sites to encompass whole categories of archaeological proof. Certain types of artifacts, specific tech indicators, and particular dating results seem to trigger automatic federal interest, regardless of their discovery setting. Freedom of Information Act requests related to government archaeological activities in Louisiana are frequently denied or heavily blacked out, showing that substantial information about these projects remains classified. The few documents that have been released reveal research programs far more extensive than publicly acknowledged. The coordination between different federal agencies in Louisiana archaeological projects suggests high-level policy coordination rather than routine rule compliance. The involvement of multiple departments and agencies shows that Louisiana sites are considered significant to various aspects of national security and scientific research. Recent reorganization of federal archaeological oversight has combined control of Louisiana sites under agencies with close ties to defense and intelligence communities. This administrative change has further restricted public access to information about archaeological discoveries in the region. Independent researchers trying to investigate government connections to Louisiana archaeology have encountered obstacles that suggest active hiding of information. Research proposals are rejected, access permissions are denied, and information sources are consistently unavailable for comment. The space visitor idea lets address the theory that many researchers whisper about, but few dare to discuss publicly. The possibility that Louisiana's ancient mysteries represent proof of space visitor contact with prehistoric human civilizations. While this idea is dismissed by mainstream archaeology, the growing proof of impossible tech capabilities and unusual artifacts makes the idea increasingly hard to ignore. The exactness of star alignments at Louisiana sites exceeds what should have been possible for prehistoric human cultures. The math relationships, the star links, and the geometric principles all suggest knowledge that seems to have been obtained from sources beyond human watching and calculation abilities. The tech skills shown in hidden artifacts challenges every idea about prehistoric human capabilities. Metalwork that includes unknown alloys, stonework that shows advanced machining methods, and building techniques that exceed modern abilities all suggest access to knowledge or technology beyond human growth. The worldwide patterns connecting Louisiana sites with similar unusual locations worldwide imply coordination on a scale that would have been impossible for isolated prehistoric human cultures. The math exactness of these connections, the consistency of tech indicators, and the timing of building projects suggest outside influence or guidance. The mysterious spheres found at Louisiana sites have properties that defy conventional explanation. their exact manufacture, their unusual physical features, and their apparent connection with larger tech systems all suggest purposes beyond simple human tools or ceremony objects. The star computer devices discovered at Louisiana sites show knowledge of sky mechanics that wouldn't be developed by human science for thousands of years. The inclusion of complex math principles and the prediction of sky events suggest access to advanced scientific knowledge. The disappearance of advanced prehistoric civilizations matches the end of the last ice age, a period when dramatic environmental changes would have made Earth less suitable for space visitor operations or contact. The timing suggests that advanced knowledge was taken away when conditions changed. The pattern of official hiding surrounding Louisiana archaeological discoveries mirrors the secrecy linked with UFO research and space visitor contact investigations. The classification of materials, the restriction of access, and the professional consequences for researchers all suggest that the discoveries have implications beyond conventional archaeology. Witnesses to hidden archaeological discoveries sometimes describe artifacts that don't fit any known human technology. Metal objects with impossible properties, crystal structures that show advanced optical capabilities, and organic materials that suggest biological engineering all point toward non-human origins. The underground tunnel networks found beneath Louisiana sites show engineering abilities that exceed prehistoric human technology. The exact construction, the advanced air systems, and the connection with surface structures all suggest design knowledge beyond human capabilities of the supposed building period. The genetic oddities found in some Native American populations include markers that don't match known human genetic patterns. These unusual genetic signatures could represent proof of mixed populations resulting from contact between humans and non-human intelligence. Recent advances in exoplanet discovery and astrobiology have made space visitor life increasingly likely from a scientific perspective. The possibility that advanced civilizations exist elsewhere in the galaxy makes contact with prehistoric Earth cultures theoretically possible. The math constants and geometric principles found at Louisiana sites match universal physical relationships that any advanced civilization would discover. The inclusion of these principles into prehistoric earthworks suggests knowledge of scientific concepts that go beyond human cultural growth. Some researchers propose that space visitor contact provided the knowledge necessary for prehistoric humans to build the advanced monuments found in Louisiana. According to this idea, advanced non-human intelligence shared star, math, and engineering knowledge with chosen human populations. The sudden stop of advanced prehistoric construction matches the end of what some researchers call the contact period. This suggests that space visitor influence was taken away, leaving human populations to continue growth without outside help. The time twist idea, perhaps the most mind-bending explanation for Louisiana's ancient mysteries, involves the possibility that time itself behaves differently in these locations. Several researchers have proposed that Louisiana's mound sites represent areas where normal physics breaks down, where the usual flow of time is disrupted in ways that could explain the impossible dating results and out-of-place tech proof. The idea comes from attempts to make sense of the contradictory proof found at Louisiana sites. How do you explain building methods that appear to be both ancient and futuristic at the same time? How do you account for star knowledge that references star positions from different historical periods? How do you understand artifacts that seem to exist outside normal time sequences? Physicists working on theoretical models of space-time distortion have identified conditions under which time-stretching effects could happen on Earth's surface. Strong gravity fields, magnetic oddities, or unusual matter arrangements could theoretically create regions where time flows at different rates than surrounding areas. Interestingly, Louisiana's unique geological features create conditions that might support such time oddities. The crossing of major fault lines, the presence of unusual mineral deposits, and the complex water flow of the Mississippi Delta all add to geological instability that could theoretically affect local space-time geometry. Researchers have documented time device malfunctions at several Louisiana archaeological sites. Digital clocks, mechanical timepieces, and electronic timing devices all show irregular behavior near major mound complexes. These oddities suggest that something about these locations affects the normal measurement of time. The dating inconsistencies that trouble Louisiana archaeology might result from time twisting rather than contamination or testing error. If time flows differently in these locations, standard dating methods based on radioactive decay or other time-dependent processes might produce inaccurate results. The star alignments at Louisiana sites include star positions from multiple historical periods, as if the builders could watch sky arrangements from different times at once. This would be possible only if time twisting allowed access to star information from various time periods. Witnesses at Louisiana archaeological sites sometimes report time displacement experiences. Time periods that seem to last minutes are later found to have stretched for hours, while lengthy dig sessions appear to have used only brief intervals. These personal time twists suggest real-time oddities. The advanced star computers found at Louisiana sites might have been designed to work within time-twisted environments. Their complex calculations and multiple variable tracking systems could represent attempts to keep accurate timekeeping despite local time irregularities. Recent research in theoretical physics has identified methods by which ancient civilizations might have deliberately created time twist fields. Advanced understanding of gravity control, magnetic field generation, or unusual matter arrangement could theoretically produce controllable time-stretching effects. The underground tunnel networks beneath Louisiana sites might represent attempts to use or control time oddities. The exact engineering and unknown building materials could show technology designed to work within twisted time fields. Some researchers propose that Louisiana's ancient builders discovered natural time oddities and built their monuments to take advantage of these effects. The exact alignments and geometric relationships might represent methods for predicting or controlling time twist events. The disappearance of advanced prehistoric civilizations could result from time displacement rather than physical destruction. If these cultures mastered time control technology, they might have moved to different time periods rather than different geographical locations. The classification of research materials from Louisiana sites might relate to time twisting rather than conventional military uses. Proof of time control technology would have implications far beyond archaeological interest, potentially affecting everything from military strategy to economic systems. Independent researchers investigating time oddities at Louisiana sites report equipment problems and measurement irregularities that suggest ongoing time twist effects. These current experiences show that whatever creates the time oddities remains active at these locations. The sound mysteries. Something extraordinary happens when you listen carefully at Louisiana's ancient sites beyond the usual sounds of wind and wildlife. Sensitive recording equipment picks up sound events that shouldn't exist. Low-frequency vibrations that seem to come from the earth itself, harmonic echoes that match no known natural processes, and sound patterns that suggest man-made creation by unknown methods. The sound oddities were first documented during routine archaeological surveys in the 1980s. Researchers using ground-penetrating radar and other ground-scanning equipment noticed that their tools detected sound waves that didn't match typical geological or environmental sources. Further investigation revealed complex sound patterns that seemed to be created by the mound structures themselves. The sounds happen in frequency ranges below normal human hearing, typically between 1 and 20 Hz. These very low frequencies can travel for huge distances through solid matter and are known to produce mental effects in humans, including feelings of unease, confusion, and even hallucinations. The fact that ancient mound sites create such frequencies raises questions about whether their builders understood and purposely used sound control. Different mounds produce different sound signatures, suggesting that sound creation was a design feature rather than an accidental byproduct of construction. The largest mounds typically create the lowest frequencies, while smaller structures produce higher pitches, creating complex harmonic relationships across whole mound complexes. The sound properties seem to be boosted by specific weather conditions, particularly during times of high air pressure and low dampness. During these best conditions, the sound creation increases dramatically, creating echoes that can be detected miles away from the source mounds. Analysis of the sound patterns reveals math relationships that match the geometric principles found in mound construction. The frequency ratios, harmonic gaps, and rhythm patterns all match the same math constants that controlled mound alignments and proportions. Perhaps most interestingly, the sound releases seem to respond to sky events. During major star alignments, particularly those built into mound orientations, the sound creation intensifies and shifts to different frequency patterns. This suggests that the sound systems were designed to interact with sky events. The underground tunnel networks found beneath Louisiana mounds show advanced sound engineering. The exact round shapes, the math curves, and the careful placement of chambers all suggest that these underground systems were designed to control and boost sound waves. Testing within the tunnel systems reveals extraordinary sound properties. Sounds made at specific spots are boosted and sent through the tunnel networks with minimal distortion, creating communication systems that could theoretically connect sites separated by considerable distances. Some tunnel chambers work as echoing spaces that boost specific frequencies while filtering out others. These sound filters could have served communication purposes, allowing complex messages to be sent through the underground networks using sound codes. The materials used in tunnel construction appear to have been chosen for sound properties as well as structure needs. The unknown lining substances found in many passages have sound transmission features that exceed those of natural stone or earth. Modern sound engineers studying Louisiana's mound sites have identified sound control methods that rival modern audio technology. The passive sound boosting, the selective frequency filtering, and the long-distance sound transmission all show advanced understanding of sound principles. The mental effects of very low frequencies created by Louisiana mounds might explain some of the unusual experiences reported by visitors to these sites. The confusion, the sense of time displacement, and the feeling of otherworldly presence could all result from exposure to specific sound frequencies. Some researchers propose that the sound systems served ritual or ceremony purposes, creating sound environments that brought on changed states of mind or boosted spiritual experiences. The frequencies created by the mounds match brainwave patterns linked with meditation, trance states, and heightened awareness. Others suggest more practical uses for the sound systems. The long-distance communication abilities, the selective frequency transmission, and the underground network connections could have served as prehistoric communication networks that allowed coordination across huge territories. The hiding of sound research at Louisiana sites follows the same pattern as other unusual discoveries. Studies that reveal advanced sound control abilities are typically ended, and researchers who publicize sound oddities face professional obstacles. Recent advances in sound technology have revealed even more advanced properties of Louisiana's mound systems. Digital signal processing and computer analysis of the sound releases show complex change patterns that suggest information encoding within the sound creation. The magnetic field oddities. Louisiana's ancient mound sites don't just control sound and time. They also create clear disturbances in Earth's magnetic field that provide additional proof of technologies we don't fully grasp. Magnetic scans at major archaeological sites consistently reveal magnetic oddities that exceed anything produced by natural rock formations or typical archaeological features. The magnetic signatures begin at the surface and extend deep into the earth, suggesting that the oddities come from structures or materials built into the mound construction. The patterns don't match typical archaeological remains like fire pits, storage pits, or buried artifacts. Instead, they suggest the presence of materials with unusual magnetic properties. At Poverty Point, magnetic readings show organized patterns of magnetic change that match the geometric layout of the earthwork ridges. The magnetic field strength varies according to math relationships that match the star alignments and proportion systems found throughout the site. Similar magnetic patterns appear at Watson Break and other Louisiana mound sites, but each location has its own distinct magnetic signature. The consistency of unusual readings across different sites suggests that magnetic control was a standard feature of ancient construction methods. The magnetic oddities don't match known rock features of the Louisiana landscape. The underlying bedrock and soil makeup can't account for the strength and pattern of the magnetic readings. Something within the mounds themselves is creating these magnetic fields. The magnetic properties vary with depth, showing that the sources of the oddities are buried within the mound structure rather than on the surface. Some magnetic sources appear to lie at considerable depths, suggesting that the builders buried materials with special magnetic qualities during construction. Testing of artifacts from Louisiana sites has revealed magnetic properties that don't match their apparent materials. Some stone artifacts show magnetic orientations that would require exposure to strong magnetic fields during their formation. Others demonstrate magnetic signatures that don't match any known natural process. The magnetic fields at mound sites fluctuate over time, showing patterns that correspond to celestial events. During major star alignments, the magnetic readings intensify and shift, suggesting that the magnetic systems were designed to interact with sky forces. Some researchers propose that the magnetic oddities result from the presence of materials with high iron content that were deliberately placed within the mounds. Analysis of soil samples from magnetic anomaly sites shows iron concentrations far above natural levels, but the iron is present in forms that don't match typical iron-bearing minerals. The magnetic fields interact with each other across mound complexes, creating patterns of interference and boost that suggest the magnetic sources were deliberately arranged to create specific field configurations. These interactions follow mathematical relationships that match the geometric principles found in mound construction. The underground tunnel networks show magnetic properties as well. The tunnel linings and structural elements demonstrate magnetic signatures that don't match surrounding soils. Some tunnels appear to act as waveguides for magnetic fields, channeling magnetic energy along their length. Modern magnetic sensing equipment often malfunctions when used near major mound sites. Compasses spin erratically, magnetic detectors give false readings, and electronic equipment suffers interference that suggests strong magnetic fields affecting their operation. The health effects of prolonged exposure to these magnetic fields haven't been studied thoroughly. Some researchers suggest that the magnetic environments at mound sites might have been designed to produce specific biological effects, possibly related to healing or spiritual practices. The pattern of magnetic oddities extends beyond Louisiana to other ancient sites worldwide. Similar magnetic anomalies appear at megalithic sites in Europe, pyramid complexes in Egypt, and ancient ceremonial centers throughout the Americas. This worldwide pattern suggests that magnetic manipulation was a feature of ancient construction globally, not just in Louisiana. The official archaeological response to magnetic anomalies has been to downplay their significance or attribute them to natural causes. However, the consistency and intensity of the magnetic readings make natural explanations increasingly unlikely. Recent advances in magnetic mapping have revealed even more complex magnetic structures beneath Louisiana's mound sites. Three-dimensional magnetic surveys show layered magnetic sources that suggest deliberate construction of magnetic features within the earthworks. Some of the most intense magnetic anomalies correspond to the locations where unusual artifacts have been discovered. This suggests that the artifacts themselves might be the sources of the magnetic fields, possessing magnetic properties that exceed normal materials. The suppression of magnetic research at Louisiana sites follows the same pattern as other unusual discoveries. Studies that reveal advanced magnetic manipulation are typically classified, and researchers who investigate magnetic anomalies face obstacles in publishing their findings.